closing of the Strait of Hormuz, what happens in one part of the world affects everyone everywhere. Therefore, complying with international law and the delivery on the Sustainable Development Goals is not optional, but in the interest of all of us. The Charter of the United Nations is our common life insurance. As President of the General Assembly for this 80th session, therefore, my key priority is to defend the Charter and the international rule of law. In this regard, I also called for a cross-regional alliance to support multilateralism and the United Nations. This is why I have traveled to India, one of the world's biggest democracies, and its continued leadership and partnership for multilateralism is central in these times. Its steadfast commitment to the Charter and the rule of law is a guarantee for peace for all of us. As one of the founding members of the United Nations, India has played a critical role throughout the organization's 80-year history and across all three pillars of the UN Charter. Since 1948 on peace and security, India has contributed more than 300,000 troops to more than 53 missions. More than 184 Indian peacekeepers have made the ultimate sacrifice in service of global peace. As a champion for the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals implementation, India leads in South-South cooperation, for example, by the Indian UN Development Partnership Fund to specifically support least developed countries, landlocked developing countries, and small island developing states in their pursuits to the SDGs. And at a time where there's a backlash against human rights and women's rights, it is important to remind people that both human rights and women's rights have been embedded in the UN since the beginning as a foundation of peace and development. As a great female Indian leader, Dr. Hansa Mehsa ensured that the Universal Declaration of Human Rights from 1948 reads not only all men, but all human beings are born free and equal. This steadfast commitment to the three principles, especially also to human rights, is even more important in a time where we undertake the selection and appointment process of a new Secretary General, a position that has never been held by a woman in the organization's 80-year history. In this process, which we just started in New York, and you might watched it on UN Web TV, we are looking not only for the next head of the unique multilateral organization of the United Nations, it's not only a simply task of administration decision, but the selection of the next Secretary General is a statement of intent that will shape the direction of the world's unique multilateral organization and demonstrate whether the United Nations truly represents the more than 8 billion people we serve around the world in all its diversity, and of half of which are women and girls. While the UN is indispensable, it has to reform itself to be more efficient, more agile, and avoid duplication to better deliver on the ground and meet the challenges of the 21st century and beyond. In this regard, I was pleased to meet with the UN resident coordinators and UN country teams of India and Bhutan to discuss how we can use the UN 80 reform to strengthen the work they are doing to support countries in achieving their development goals. Because whether we truly serve all the people will be determined not only in New York or Geneva, but primarily whether we are improving the lives of people in communities around the world, especially also here in India, where a sixth of the world population lives. And I really commend also the work of the more than 20 UN agencies here in India to deliver every day on the implementation of the SDGs. This underlines that the UN is needed every day, even though we are facing intense challenges. No single day would the world be better off without the United Nations. But as much as the world needs the UN these days also needs the world. It needs governments, it needs civil societies, it needs young people and citizens from all walks of life to defend this unique multilateral organization, to defend the house of humanity, peace and dialogue. And in this regard, I also commend the strong commitment of the Indian people to the UN as demonstrated by the enthusiastic participation in the nationwide competition to design a commemorative stamp to celebrate the United Nations 80th anniversary. As I learned when I was presented with this beautiful stamp depicting UN peacekeepers and the peace staff, nearly 750,000 students from around the country submitted proposals that showcased not only their artistic talent and their commitment to the UN, peace, development, and multilateral cooperation, but also the spirit of India's
Baby Chocholai, Slassia, Jas, on so more. The only and send me channel. I said, Pruning a beauty on the me bow. A true proud patron new because I was for good to know anymore. Yes.
Wonderful. Thanks so much. So we'll take groups of questions. And if you could please say your name and the organization that you're with, and then we will take a group. So I saw your hand and the gentleman here, your hand, and then your hand, and then we'll get to a few. Let's take those three first, and then we'll get to a few on this side.
Good afternoon. This is Yeshi Seli from Business India. You just spoke about UN peacekeepers, with the ongoing conflict between Israel, US, and Iran. There are a lot of peacekeepers in Lebanon. 6 of them have died. 3 were from Indonesia, and I think the same amount from Italy. How is it that you're going to ensure the safety of the peacekeepers? We have nearly 600 there.
Okay, thank you for that question.